I literally never even thought of Mark Levin before this week. Like, as far as I was concerned, he was the guy on Fox News who did a show from inside like a closet or something, like the low effort Fox, the low effort Fox show that gets kind of just stuffed away at 11 p.m. or whenever his show is. Now, I've been having a lot of fun watching what Mark Levin says because it's a circus, his show, because he's just saying these crazy things. So, I mean, look, I'm going to show you his whole monologue here, like why Trump is doing a spectacular job and we can't stop. It's hilarious, and I'm going to show you something that creates a whole lot of weird questions in a few minutes too. So let's just take a look at Life, Liberty, and Levin.
Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin, and I'm here to set the record straight. We, the American people, the Yanks, red-blooded Americans, who've seen war all over the planet, who've seen war in our own country, the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. We just saw something that is as spectacular as anything else that has ever been done. A tremendous commander-in-chief, a tremendous military, tremendous technology, all coming together.
Who he hated, by the way.
To take out the greatest threat to this country since we were attacked at Pearl Harbor. That's correct.
Oh, really?
Nuclear weapons with intercontinental missiles.
No nuclear weapons. Nobody ever confirmed that.
In the hands of Islamist Nazis.
Islamist Nazis. I've never heard about Islamist Nazis before. I didn't know that we were fighting Islamist Nazis. Now I get it.
Want to blow us off the face of the earth.
This
is not getting the positive attention that it deserves. We, the American people, we celebrate occasions like this.
Yeah.
We honor the people who are involved. Instead, we hear the Democrats, the isolationists, the media complain. The War Powers Act. This is illegal. Did we get all the sites? That would be the same Democrats, media, and isolationists that didn't want the sites attacked in the first place, wouldn't it? That would be the same Democrats and media and isolationists that allow the North Koreans to have 50 nuclear bombs because they wouldn't take out the nuclear facility that they had. The appeaser, Obama.
Yeah, I mean, but how do you think that would have played out? Like, I can assure you that the only reason North Korea wanted nuclear weapons is because they saw that we just overthrow the shit out of every single country that we don't see eye to eye with the leader. So that's one thing. And then if we were to have blown up North Korea's nuclear sites, they're one of China's biggest allies. They're basically a proxy of China. So, I mean, how do you think that will have worked out? We're still not out of the woods yet with this Israel-Iran thing, not by a long shot. And that's his line of thinking, is that we should have blown up North Korean nuclear sites. Okay.
Worse than the appeaser, Biden funding the enemy. And look what was done. Look what was done. This deserves to be celebrated. So you know what I'm going to do tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with you? We're going to celebrate this.
We're going to celebrate?
So sit back, turn up the volume on your TV, and here we go.
Oh, boy.
Chief, our Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States. You deserve to be honored and loved by the American people, and you are.
Hated him.
90% of the American people supported this.
You hated him before.
Now that it's been victorious, even more. And I would be terribly remiss if I didn't mention our great partners in this battle.
Oh.
The Israelis.
Oh.
They're tremendous leaders as well. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, who's basing all of his foreign policy off not going to freaking jail because he was allegedly taking bribes from all the rich Jewish people who were trying to get things from him. Like the Adelsons, they were on freaking camera admitting to the Israeli law enforcement that Netanyahu was pressuring them to give him gifts. His wife was asking them for gifts. And then he tries to overhaul the judiciary system, so their Supreme Court. And you have the biggest protest of all time in Israel when that's happening. And then October 7th happens. And then things get much better for Netanyahu. So we're still ignoring that really, really, really scary, uncomfortable question of, did Netanyahu let October 7th happen? Like, you have dudes who live in a cave using dirt bikes and paragliders to penetrate the most secure piece of land in the world. Nobody's really followed up on that. And then now, June 2025, Netanyahu's getting cross-examined in court. Things are heating up again. But now the Iranians, they have nuclear weapons. So we have to act. We have to act. So that whole thing goes down. Trump does his part, and then the ceasefire is supposed to happen. Netanyahu keeps going, and Trump had to have a really harsh conversation with him. But that's what's going to be interesting to see, is if this thing gets dragged out and if Israel's the main driver of it getting dragged out, because I don't necessarily, like, they want regime change, but I'd be remiss if I said that I don't think they and the CIA played a big part in the last regime change. So let's take a look at this real quick. Take a look at this and let me know what you think when you hear this.
Ah, I know. So you would like me to be your stooge?
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir?
No, I must admit that it's the first time I hear that.
Truly?
Yes? What is it?
This secret study portrays the Shah as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests.
So how could I be your man, your agent?
How do you mean?
Safeguarding your interests.
Well, it says that the Shah is an uncertain ally. His dreams of glory apparently...
I know. So you would like me to be your stooge?
Do you want me to go on, or shall I forget about this?
Well, some funny points, why not?
You think the Jewish lobby in the United States is too powerful for the interests of Israel?
I think so. Sometimes they are disserving the interests of Israel because
Explain.
they're pushing around too many people.
How do you mean pushing around?
Well, pressuring. They have many means at their disposal. They are putting up pressure on many, many people. And at the end, I don't think that it will even help Israel.
Why, if this is true, why would the President of the United States pay attention to that lobby?
They are strong.
Strong in what sense?
They are controlling many things.
Controlling what?
Newspapers, medias,
Your Majesty.
banks, finances, and I'm going to stop there.
Well, now, wait just a second. You really do believe that the Jewish community in the United States is that powerful? They make...
So maybe they weren't so happy with old Shah Pahlavi back in the day. Yeah, not today. I mean, there's the argument that they don't want stability in the Middle East. Like, why would you overthrow Assad and put freaking ISIS in charge of Syria? Why would you have Qatar giving tens of millions of dollars to Hamas every month? Because, see, the pattern with this whole thing is they don't want credible, legitimate regimes in power, because when there's what would be classified as a terrorist group in power, it's justifiable to throw a bunch of rockets at them to drag the U.S. into going to war with those countries on their behalf. And then you got the greater Israel clique. You got Netanyahu holding up the sign with a map that says the new Middle East a year or two ago at this conference, making it look a whole lot like he wants a greater Israel situation. And, you know, you got the Clean Break initiative that goes back like 20 years where they said they want to do regime change in Syria, Iraq, and Iran. So the thing that everybody forgets is that we kind of threw this whole curveball into the Middle East when we just injected a new country into the mix. You know, it's a conversation for another day how stable the Middle East was before the collapse of the Ottoman Empire and before the Sykes-Picot Agreement, where we carved it up and gave some of it to Britain and some of it to France. But when we started creating the State of Israel, from this Balfour Declaration in 1917 all the way to 1948 when it was recognized as a state, you know, you can't imagine that made the neighbors too happy. So, yeah. So obviously, turbulence was inevitable with that. But the real kicker is what I just talked about the other day in my episode about the Schofield Bible and how it really did brainwash millions and millions of Christians to just defend Israel no matter what. And now politicians are brainwashed in the same way to defend Israel and help Israel in foreign policy no matter what, whatever they want, anytime they want. Because by God, if you do not help them, you will be cursed. And if you do help them, you'll be blessed. But that's not what it actually says. That's not what Genesis 12-3 says. It says, I shall bless those who help you, and I shall curse those who don't help you. So God was talking to David, but the footnotes from the Schofield Bible interpreted the you and in that paragraph, in that verse, as Israel. So it just so happens to be a time where there's a strategic interest in the Middle East in having a proxy in the Middle East. Okay? Now, I'm not talking what is or isn't the Holy Land, but there is a vested interest in the West setting up shop in the Middle East. Okay? So they set up shop in the Middle East with Israel, and everybody supports it because of what the Schofield Bible says. So who is really the one causing the majority of the problems here? I mean, with that said, I'm no fan of what Muslims are doing, what Islamic extremists are doing. I think that they're a poison to society in a lot of ways, especially when they get into Western society. Like, look at what's happening in New York. That's going to be a disaster. I don't think that Muslims should be allowed to run for political office in America. Like, I've been saying that for a long time. Like, and if you're a religious Muslim, if you're a religious Islamic, whatever, either one of them, is there really a case to be made that those people should have citizenship in the United States? Because, you know, people from Mexico, that's one thing. They're happy and willing to assimilate. But people from the Middle East are not coming here to assimilate. They're coming here to make us change our ways to their ways. They have no interest in living life the way that we live life. And look what's happening in London. You got Muslim gangs going around and kidnapping and murdering and sexually assaulting underage girls. You have them openly saying that we're coming for you, Christians. We're going to kill you guys. Yeah, we're outnumbering you. You are done. So we got to stop this stuff. We got to slow this thing way down. I mean, so I don't like seeing people take a side like, oh, I'm anti-Jewish, pro-Muslim extremist. Oh, I'm pro-Muslim extremists, anti-Jewish, or pro-Jewish, anti-Muslim extremists, vice versa. Because they both present a threat in a different way. They both, and the thing is that the one thing I think is that the Muslims are saying exactly what their intentions are, but the Israeli lobby side of things is not saying exactly what its intentions are. I think that's much cloudier. Equally dangerous, if not more dangerous. It's a toss-up which one's more dangerous, but they're both things that we have to be very, very vigilant of. So if either of those topics pique your interest, I just made a video about why I think Netanyahu's foreign policy is largely based off his legal troubles. I also made a video about what the impact of the Schofield Bible was. But hey, guys, if you are a like-minded individual that wants to contribute to this type of research and information, get your thoughts out there, get your thoughts on our network and platforms, potentially be a guest on my show someday, join the VT research group in the Connect Circles app, and you'll be part of our one-of-a-kind community where we do research, we drop documents, links, videos, websites, articles, etc. And we have these mastermind sessions once a week on Zoom. And anytime you have strong opinions and a lot to say about a topic, whether it's current events or evergreen, I will have you on my podcast, and we will let the world see what you have to say. So if that appeals to you, if you're a curious, restless, and well-versed individual, join the VT research group down below. Much love. Until next time.